Hi, this is Greg with Lionquest Fitness. I got a special treat for you revolver lovers out there. Got a Smith & Wesson Model 10-8. Now, checking the serial numbers, I came up with a date of 1977, but it may have been made sometime in the early 80s. Now, it's got the pin barrel, it's got the spur on the hammer, and this gun is in almost pristine condition. In fact, probably the only people who have shot this gun was myself and my son-in-law. But what we're going to do, we're going to run a few drills with it, and then we're going to talk about whether or not Plus P is suitable for a gun like this. Oh, I'm missing something. Maestro, a little bit of music, please. First three were at 5 yards. Then here, I went to 7 yards. So you see, I need to elevate a little bit. And then last but not least, I did that 10 yards. I'd say the old boy still shoots pretty good. Went ahead and put 3 more in the center. Right there, a little bit low, but once again, it's getting dark. Alright, that last thing I did, that's more of a stunt than something people could use for self-defense. Only do things like that under professional supervision. Now last night it got too dark to finish. In fact, it was getting kind of hard to see, so we're finishing up today. Let's talk about some history of the Model 10. Smith & Wesson military and police hand ejector. First manufactured in 1899. This one was made in 1901. What is so special about this gun? Well, this marked the rise of .38 Special and the transition from black powder to so-called smokeless powder. Now, at the time, the United States military was using the .38 Long Colt, and it did not provide enough power. In fact, in the Philippine insurrection, this is when they decided they needed a more powerful round. And during this time, Smith & Wesson started to develop the .38 Special to supplant the .38 Long Colt. Now, we were going to talk about Plus P ammo in older revolvers. And I want to say this, if you have any revolver that was from 1899 to the end of World War II, I would be very leery about shooting high pressure ammunition through it because of the age of the gun, also because the metallurgy wasn't as good as today. Now let's drop down to 1950. And there are some people who believe that the Smith & Wesson revolvers made in the 1950s 60s and early 70s were some of the finest revolvers ever made. Now this was what's called a pre-Model 10. It has a standard barrel. It was a police officer's gun because of the wear pattern. This gun had been carried in a holster a good bit in all kinds of weather. It also has a lot of wear to the barrel, to the inside of the barrel. It was obviously shot a lot. In fact, whoever owned it had several different pairs of grips that lead me to believe they may at one time have been a competitive shooter. Now I want you to listen to this lockup. Now, is it not amazing that a gun this old that has been shot as much as this gun has, not only is it the most accurate gun I own, but it has such a tight and sturdy lockup. Now as far as ammunition, I would not recommend you shoot anything more than 158 grain lead round nose. And once again, probably not more than 800 feet per second velocity. Although I have had some higher pressure ammo in this gun. Now that we've had that brief history lesson, let's go back to the Model 10 that I've been shooting. And I want to show you something. And it has to do with that forcing cone. I want you to look at that very carefully. Now this Model 10 has a pin barrel, square butt, the original grips. And back in the 80s, when I was a young police officer, we fired plus P ammo through these guns. And sometimes we fired a lot of it. But there's the problem, that high pressured ammo. And a gun like this, it can handle the high pressured ammo, the plus P ammo, but you run into a problem of that forcing cone cracking. And I had a gun from back then that I cracked the forcing cone. I've also had an older Smith & Wesson I shot where I cracked the forcing cone because I was using too high of a pressure of ammo and the metallurgy couldn't take it. Now this gun here in small amounts could take plus P. If I was to carry this gun, I would carry plus P ammo. But I wouldn't make a habit of shooting it all the time through this gun. Now let's drop down to modern times where they're making the 38 revolvers specifically for plus P. And this is a Model 64, the stainless twin of the Model 10. This gun weighs 36 ounces as opposed to this gun that weighs 34 ounces. And on the classic Smith & Wessons, you see a cutaway here. On the new Smith & Wessons, they've reinforced that, so it has a different profile. Also, the size of the forcing cone. As you can see, that forcing cone has been shortened. Also, the cylinder on that Model 64 is actually longer. And right here, where you see that, that support for the cylinder, on the modern Smiths, you see that it's been reinforced even more. Also, this gun has a two-piece barrel as opposed to the pin barrel. Now, is it better? Well, you can shoot plus P in these guns. And so I would have to say that's a better thing. Although you can't beat one of these older Smith & Wessons. So this is Greg with Lionquest Fitness.